Uh-huh.
I have good news and bad news. This grape is gonna go up in value, like double the price.
It's the peak of the citrus harvest season in Kern County right now, but the industry is taking a hit after immigration agents conducted several operations last week.
Paisanos,
Friends,
así se mira ahora en los traques, mira.
look at this now.
Sin ni un trabajador.
Nobody working.
ICE has been rounding up not even just undocumented immigrants, anyone who looks like they could have at one point in their life spoken Spanish, perhaps, is being rounded up by ICE and threatened, detained, deported, you name it, it's happening. We're here. We are 11 days into the Trump administration as of the day I'm making this video. And things have deteriorated at a rate faster than even I could have expected. People are being literally snatched off the street and just taken away. Just taken. People who are not white. People who are caught in public speaking Spanish. People who are indigenous Americans are being detained, harassed, and taken by ICE. Just taken, just hauled away. So, logically, a lot of people who are immigrants in the United States, and no surprise to many of you, they make up a large percentage of our agriculture labor force. They're not going into work. They're hiding, rightfully so, from the Nazis hunting them down. So you thought food was already expensive with fake inflation or price gouging. Well, it's about to skyrocket for two reasons. One, Trump just imposed 25% tariffs on Canada and Mexico. So all of that's going to go up. But in addition, our food that we grow here is dying on the vine. Animals aren't being fed, crops aren't being picked because the people who work there are terrified of being snatched and taken away from their families.
Are you worried, like some of your other farmers, that if there were a mass roundup of undocumented migrants, that you might lose workers? You might not have enough workers.
Well, the question I asked, how are they going to do that? Within 2 days, we will not have food. There will not be food anywhere.
2 days?
Yes. That's why I predict nobody will be filling the shelves, nobody will be producing food. If we once have to shut down and be gone, it's never coming back.
Does Governor Noem understand that?
I don't know who this man voted for, but I know farmers personally, and I know farmers who voted for Trump this time around. And there's a similar sentiment of, well, they'll never do that. Don't be ridiculous. Oh, how are they going to enforce it? This is how they're enforcing it. Rounding up anyone who is brown, speaks Spanish in public, not a white person. That's how. How did you think they were going to enforce it? You thought they were just going to give up? No, they're Nazis. They're going to round up anyone who looks at them the wrong way, anyone who doesn't look at them the wrong way, anyone who just looks not white. They're going to round them up. And like everything Trump touches, our already ailing economy dies.
You campaigned on lowering prices for consumers. We've seen all of these executive orders. Which one lowers prices?
We have done a lot, and there have been a number of executive orders that have caused already jobs to start coming back into our country, which is a core part of lowering prices. More capital investment, more job creation in our economy is one of the things that's going to drive down prices for all consumers, but also raise wages so that people can afford to buy the things that they need. If you look at our slate of executive orders, no, Margaret, prices are going to come down, but it's going to take a little bit of time, right? The president has been president for all of 5 days. I think that in those 5 days, he's accomplished more than Joe Biden did in 4 years.
I gotta agree with him there. a lot of garbage has happened in the last 11 days. I feel like every time I look at my phone, there is new, horrible, breaking news that I have to deal with. And it's incredibly overwhelming. And I gotta be honest, that's probably kind of the point. Not only is he throwing everything at the wall to see what sticks, aka what he can get away with, if you are so unbelievably overwhelmed by all of the horrible things that are happening all at once, you're much less likely to do anything about it, especially when it feels like the world is burning around you and you still have to go to work. But let me be honest with you, a lot of those agriculture jobs that migrants are willing to take when they immigrate here, they've tried to give to Americans and Americans don't want to do it. They're not efficient at it. They don't do a good job, and they don't want the job. They won't even take it, and they require a lot more pay in exchange for the work. If you think this and tariffs are going to bring prices down, then you don't know how the economy works. And Trump doesn't either, but he doesn't care to, because he's not concerned about your bank account. He's concerned about his bank account and his rich billionaire buddies. And guess what? What's good for them is actively what's not good for you.
Coffee from Colombia. We actually make our own coffee here too in Kona, in Hawaii, right? There's multiple things coming out of our neighbors' countries that aren't sort of reducible to one thing. But I think that's part of what the media has been articulating this entire time, arguing that the GOP reduces humans to an identity, but really it's them shoving these countries into boxes. President Trump sees them as partners.
Yeah, what's interesting is Trump's trying to bring about a world where he'll drop the rate for companies that actually come here and make some of that stuff to 15% tax rate. So we might not have to miss coffee or whatever they think they're going to miss that we can clearly make our own, but maybe not as much of, because maybe some of those countries will come here and they'll package their stuff or distribute it from here.
Sure, let's level Oahu and Kauai and screw the people who live there and screw the natives from Hawaii. Let's just level it and turn it into coffee farms, because everything is a business opportunity. Screw people, I want money. We buy products from other countries because we, A, can't make it ourselves, or B, it's cheaper to get it from, XYZ countries than it is for us to pay to have it done here. So if you think that no longer trading with some other country and then either trying to make it here and paying people to make it here is going to make it cheaper, then again, you don't understand how the economy works, and you don't understand how global economy works. We have connections across the globe. Self-sustainability is actually not super sustainable. That's why we have a global trade economy. And the worst part of all of this isn't even the fact that it's going to decimate people's wallets and people aren't going to be able to afford food for their families, which is already terrible. The worst part is that we're rounding up people and keeping them in detention centers. Do you understand what's happening? Look around you. They are rounding up your neighbors, your brothers and sisters, and who've done nothing, who've committed no crime. And they're just putting them in detention centers until they can figure out if they've committed a crime, if they belong here, if they're documented or undocumented. It doesn't matter. They're just rounding them up. That's the worst part of the whole thing. And not being able to afford food for your family was bad enough. Prices are about to skyrocket. Already high prices are about to go up, no matter what. If ICE comes and takes away your Latin neighbor, prices aren't going to go down. Sorry, they're just not. And just remember that Americans protect Americans. So protect your neighbors. Tell ICE you don't know anything about anyone, and if they want to come inside, they need a warrant. All those things, because them stealing your neighbors is not, even if it was going to help you, you shouldn't allow it to happen. But it's not going to help you. It's not going to help your bank account. It's not going to help prices at the grocery store. If anything, it's going to make them worse. Just look out for each other. Americans protect Americans.